Moving on from our reading today, we are going to be thinking about working with that partner. And activity page 6.1, which is on page
63.
Which is on page, Ryder.
63.
Oh, thank you. Now he's getting up. We are going to be writing a letter to the partner you worked with today. So the reason we're going to be doing this is 1, letter practice, right? 2, we just worked on close reading with our partners. And we were looking for information and we were answering different types of questions, whether it was a literature question, our structure of the sentence questions, composition questions, vocabulary questions, and you did some partner work with it today. Now we are going to write a letter to our partners. So at your letter, we're going to have a few things. Dear blank. What do you think goes on that line? Your partner's name. Who you were working today. Today I learned about, and you're going to go, you can go back in the text, you can use your sticky notes, you can use your brain, but you're going to write what you learned about in today's reading. Or in today's lesson, talking about the different types of questionings that we talked about today. So something you learned today from our reading. 3 facts I learned were 1, 2, and 3. I welcome you to use your facts that you guys wrote down the other day. Turn back a page in your notebook. Might be back a few pages. You guys ended reading the other day. Filling out these ones. Remember this? Activity 5.3. Many of you worked on it this morning. You needed to write down 3 facts. Could you use some of those facts today to help you? Could you use any of the facts or information you guys wrote down on your sticky notes?
Yes.
Yep, you're going to write 3 facts that you learned from today's reading. So, if you're writing down facts from today's reading, you should probably use your text, your book. What chapter were we in? 4. One thing I'm having trouble understanding. Now, this is the next piece on it. One thing I'm having trouble understanding. The question I always get from students is, well, Mrs. Martin, what if I understand everything?
5 point. Is it 5.3 or 5.4?
5.3 is what we worked on the other day that we were answering questions on. One thing I'm having trouble understanding. So I want you to think back in your text. Griffin asked me a really good question today, and I don't remember what it was, but anything that as you're reading and your brain jumps to of like, wow, I don't understand this, or what's happening here, or when light travels, what's happening, anything that you're still kind of confused about, you write here. Griffin, if you can remember your question, that was a great one to write down. What was your question? Do you remember?
It was, why doesn't light go all the way down to the bottom of the ocean?
Yep, so we talked about light is always traveling, right? So we said, why doesn't it always go to the bottom of the ocean? It's still supposed to be making it down, right? So that's a question he has trouble understanding. So we haven't really read about it, but it's a great question that came up. Did it have to do with the reading? Yeah, we were learning about light and how it travels and how it refracts and how fast it's going to travel through different things. Fabulous. So it's a question anything you're still trying to struggle with, you don't really quite understand with light. Turn on the back part of our letter. So now we're on page 64. I have a question for you about this chapter. This is where you write a question. It could have to do with something you're having trouble understanding. So your understanding piece could just be, I still don't understand refraction. Hopefully you understand it by now. Then a question you have about the chapter. And then can you please help me with this question? So hopefully your partner is going to be able to help you answer a question, right? Your partner and your name. What do you notice at the bottom of this today? Charlie.
It's what your partner says.
Your partner is going to answer you. So after you finish writing your letter today, you're going to switch it with your partner, and your partner is going to respond. We will actually probably knock it to the partner response today. We'll hopefully get our letters done today, and your partner's response will be tomorrow. Does that sound good? We'll do it tomorrow morning. That way I know everybody gets this first part done. We're going to focus on this, and then you guys can turn them into me. Sound good? So your name at the top, your partner's name on the first line. Questions, comments, concerns before you get started. Cooper.
Can it be like Does it have to be in this chapter?
Let's focus on chapter 4. If you have questions or concerns about other parts of the book, that's fine. But let's do 3 facts from this one. Does that sound good? If you have questions or concerns or don't understand something from the whole book, that's fine. Your things you learn, let's keep from chapter 4. Zoe.
What if we don't know how to talk last name?
You can go check. Sound good? Aiden. When we get started, you sure can. Viola.
What if you have a question and your partner doesn't know it?
Oh, you might have to look together, look back in the book, work together, try and find the answer to it. But ask your question first, and maybe partner will be able to answer. Maybe they won't, and that might have to be their response. I'm not sure of this at this time. Ryder.
Will it be like kind, color, or cool, or?
No, because the partner you're going to be writing to is the partner you just spent all of reading working with. Sound good? So whoever you sat with today, who'd you sit with? Perfect. Brock is who you're writing your letter to. Sound good? Sound good?
Yes.
Lexi.
I can't remember what I was.
You were with Viola. I remember for you. You guys ready?
Yep.
Work.